our landscapes. Today we're going to be taking a look at the blues scale. And the blues scale is just the C minor pentatonic scale. That would be this scale. I'm at the 8th fret, the tonic, the flatted 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the flatted 7th, and the tonic again, but with an added interval, and that would be this note right here. And this is the flatted 5th interval, or the raised 4th. And basically what we've got is this scale. So now we have a 6-note scale, also called a hexatonic scale, instead of a pentatonic scale, which would be a 5-note scale. So we get this sound, and that's just playing it in one octave from this C note up to this C note. Now, just the scale by itself is pretty effective as a blues tool. I just play down the scale and it sounds like some kind of a lick. Play up the scale. But the real trick in playing this scale is learning to manipulate that one interval, that flatted 5th interval, and kind of tease your listener with it. So you can actually start on that note and then immediately resolve it to a note above. Or you could resolve it down. And playing it like that so that you kind of milk it for what it's worth and use that tension that it creates against the notes in the chord is really what makes it work. So by playing it that way with a little bit of confidence, and once you get it in your ear and kind of understand what it's going to sound like, it becomes very easy to kind of use it to play off of that tension and dissonance. Let's take the upper part of the C minor pentatonic scale. So I'm starting on C here on the 4th string, 10th fret with my 3rd finger. So here's the C minor pentatonic scale from there. And then we've also got this note here as well. But this is a C and this is a C. Now those intervals are the root, the flatted 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the flatted 7th, the root, and the flatted 3rd again. But once again, we can use that flatted 3rd, or I should say flatted 5th interval right there with the little finger on the 3rd string. And so there's your scale, and that's the sound of that scale as you play up and down the pattern. So by playing with both octaves now, you have a full range of notes. So that is kind of the way that note gets integrated into the minor pentatonic scale. It can be played in other keys too, just by shifting it around, just like you can with any minor pentatonic scale. So for instance, here's the A minor pentatonic scale, but now played as the blues scale with the flatted 5th. And you could also play it for G, for instance. I think that's another key that's written in the book. It's not limited to any of those places. Obviously, it's a movable pattern. You don't have any open notes. So you can play it anywhere. If I play it here at the 1st fret, we're in the key of F. So that is the minor pentatonic scale. Now let's talk about some chords that we can use along with it. Well, before we try to play these chords as a song or as a little pattern to improvise over, I'm going to just go through and just play each one individually so you get a feel for what they sound like. The first is a G5, and here I am at the 3rd fret, 1st finger on the 6th string, 3rd finger on the 5th string at the 5th fret, and little finger on the 4th string at the 5th fret. And that's the same shape we're going to use for all of these chords. We may start it on different strings, but it's going to be the same shape. So this is a G5. The next chord in the pattern is B flat 5. Now to do the C5, I could move right up to here at the 8th fret and play that same shape, but we could also play this shape starting with the root now on the 5th string. And so I've just moved all of my fingers up one set of strings, just like it shows in the book. So I've got my 1st finger on the 5th string, and then my 3rd and 4th fingers on the 4th and 3rd strings. And that's C5. And if I turn that into a D5, I just move it up 2 frets. And then if I wanted to play an F5, in this case I'm going to move down here to the 1st fret. I'm going back to the original shape that we played. So I'm going back to the F5 shape, or the one that I played for G5, I should say, but I moved it down to F5 at the 1st fret. And then we're back to G5. And the last 2 chords in the progression are just the C5 and the D5 again. So here is the whole chord progression. Repeat. So now I'm going to loop that so that we can play along on top of it. I'm going to play the minor pentatonic scale and then the blues scale against it as well, so you can hear what both of them sound like against that chord progression. And when I'm saying against, what I mean is over, just so you understand that basically I'm just trying to get you to learn to hear what each one of the notes sounds like as it's compared to the chords that belong to that key. And these chords, by the way, all just follow the notes of the G minor pentatonic scale. So we're in the key of G minor. Right? So here we go. That's the chord progression. Now here are the 2 scales. Here is G minor pentatonic, and here's the G minor pentatonic with the added flatted 5th called the G blues scale. And of course we can play it in both octaves, so I'm going to play the blues scale in both octaves. You can see just running over the scale, like I said earlier, really sounds like a lick in and of itself. I'm going to play around with it a little bit. We're on page 87 in the book Guitar Landscapes now, and what we're going to do is look at the chords in the key of A minor. These are the chords we're using: A minor, G over B, C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, and D minor. And the chord progression goes like this. And that chord progression just repeats, and we're going to play these scales over it and improvise with them. Here's the A natural minor scale. Here's the A minor pentatonic scale. And then here's the A blues scale, which is just the minor pentatonic scale with one note added. So we're going to use this chord progression as a backdrop to play and improvise with these scales. Well, here is A natural minor. And here's A minor pentatonic. And here's A blues. So now I'm just going to improvise, and I'll freely go between those three scales. Well, I hope this has given you some ideas of chord progressions that you can use and scales that you can use and how they work together. Really learning to see those two things happening simultaneously is really what makes music tick. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you go to the website Guitar-Gps.com and you can see more videos like this. You can also download some freebies there as well. And you can pick up the book Guitar Landscape if you haven't already done so. Well, thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.